Yeah, of course, when you subscribe, you'll always be notified on when we have posted a video. Okay, so we now going to have item 5 done. Okay, once again, I've said it's very enticing, and it has very many learning points to both a teacher and a learner, most especially those who are going to sit for their forthcoming exams. Okay, alright, good. Let's look into this slowly. We get it answered and we call it a day. So, due to weather changes, of course, item 5, due to weather changes, your region has been struck by heat waves resulting into scarcity of water for farming and too much heat inside houses. Oh, that's really bad. A meteorological team from the Ministry of Disaster and Preparedness informs the population that the time to cultivate land for crop farming is when the atmospheric pressure is below 740 millimeters of mercury. Please, this one said as millimeters of mercury. Reason, in chemistry, Hg is the symbol for mercury. Okay. The government has advised your region to make kettles and pots using clay. Oh, do you think it's just easy like that? Anyway, and use them with metal sheets to address the issue of clean water for drinking. And we shall be looking into that. How can that be done? We shall be seeing that. Okay. Hang moist sisal or banana fiber curtains on the inside walls to reduce heat inside the houses. Anyway, in this generation where we have okay okay, I guess the someone doesn't even know what banana fiber is, or to only the few ones who grew up in the village can at least tell. However, don't worry, in this video I have the picture for you such that you will be able to know what a banana fiber is, especially, and I don't want to use an abusive language here. Okay, houses, and also build high water tanks out of repurposed plastic containers locally made to act as water reservoirs. Okay, so they need to have somewhere to be storing their water from for future use. The population has been advised to extract groundwater using hand pumps. Oh, that is really cool. A bit cool. To raise the water into the tank so as to bring water to residences, making sure that there is sufficient pressure at the taps for irrigation and household use. However, this water is not clean for drinking. Anyway, sorry for that. Oh, sorry. If the water is not clean for drinking, then it's not good. Hint, they're saying the amount of heat required to vaporize 2 kilograms of water from drinking it's meant to be for drinking at, let's get this one. Okay, so we have harmonized it already. So they're saying to vaporize 2 kilograms of water for drinking at 60 degrees Celsius is 4.55 exponent. Okay, I think still again, let's look. Okay, we proceed. So okay, we get our laser pen. So they're saying the amount of heat required to vaporize 2 grams of water for drinking at 60 degrees is 4.55 times 10 power negative power 6. Or it is read as 4.55 exponent 6 joules. That's the amount of heat. Okay, specific capacity of water is 4,200 joules per kilogram per Kelvin. Okay, the total pressure sufficient for the taps and irrigation is 15 kilopascals. This is kilopascals. K is kilopascals. Pascals is a unit for pressure. I guess you have already covered that task. But they're saying, let's make analysis. They're saying task: as a student of physics, carry out a scientific investigation to help the region establish if they can cultivate land for farming. Now, we need to look into that. Then, okay, let's go on by one. So, carry out a scientific investigation to help the region establish if they can cultivate land for farming. Let's go and look into that in part A. Let's go and see which can they even carry or establish land for farming. So we have this point here which says a meteorological team from the Ministry of Disaster and Preparedness informs the general population that the time to cultivate land for crop farming, you see that, is when the atmospheric pressure is below 740 millimeters of mercury. Now, the word is atmospheric pressure. Must be this. Then, of course, ask yourself, how can we measure atmospheric pressure? We can measure atmospheric pressure using what we call a barometer. We can use a barometer to measure atmospheric pressure. Now, but of course, these are local people. Do you think they'll be able to buy a real barometer? Not really. But they can make a local one. They can make a local barometer. And that's what we have in part A. Let's go and see how we can make a local barometer. Okay. In part A, we want to see how we can make a local barometer in simple terms. Now, it all begins with here. To make a local barometer, I'll describe here like this. First of all, you will need, okay, a glass tube like that with an open end. Now what you will do, you will have to, in fact, pour here some mercury, like right there, mercury. Then you must put your hand to cover on the open end of the mercury. Then later on you do what? You will shake. Why do we shake? We shake to remove any air which is inside there. We shake to remove any air which is inside there. Then what you will do, you will get now another trough. A trough. You come and now invert this. You come. That's a simple description. Okay. You now get this glass tube of yours containing mercury, and you've already finished to shake it to drive away air. What you do now, pour some mercury into that trough or container. Then you will come and invert. You will come and invert, or you put the open end to be inside the mercury into the trough like that. You find that the mercury will find its way up this side like that. Now what you will do here, you will get a ruler and measure the mercury length in the glass tube, a mercury length L. Now that length is how much? If the length maybe is 740 centimeters, then you say they can now plant their crops, because high temperatures don't favor crop growing, by the way. So it should be that. It should be either that. In fact, if the length is 740, then that can suit the 740 millimeters of mercury. Let's go and look at that in details right here. We have a diagram here. I've tried to improvise one here which will work for us. Let's get started. Okay. So now we are saying that the materials needed, all you need is alright, the materials needed, we need a glass tube, we need mercury, we need a bowel, we need a meter roll, like that.